Hello friends. Have you ever met two people who seem to orbit each other in different emotional galaxies, yet somehow create a beautiful, delicate constellation when they meet? That's the story of the Cancer man and the Libra woman, a pairing that dances between moonlight and air, emotion and intellect, depth and grace. Their connection is like a song played on two instruments that shouldn't harmonize but somehow do, if they learn to listen carefully to each other's rhythm. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. Chemistry. Initial attraction. When the Cancer man first encounters the Libra woman, he feels something stir in him that he can't quite explain. It's not merely her beauty, though she has that in abundance, but the serenity she carries, like sunlight filtering through lace curtains. The Libra woman glides through the world with a kind of graceful confidence that's both elegant and disarming. Her smile, soft yet knowing, suggests she's seen much and judged little. The Cancer man, with his quiet nature and soulful gaze, finds himself irresistibly drawn to her warmth and social ease. She is air, free, bright, moving, and he is water, deep and reflective. Together, they create an atmosphere that feels both light and profound, like waves glittering under moonlight. What's fascinating about their first connection is how naturally they seem to complement each other. He listens with care, his empathy a steady current beneath her words, while she brings sparkle to his thoughtful stillness. He admires how she manages to charm everyone in the room without seeming fake, and she's intrigued by how he manages to remain so composed yet emotionally rich. In the Libra woman, he sees someone who might understand the poetry of his heart. In the Cancer man, she senses an emotional safety net she didn't know she was craving. Their attraction unfolds in subtle gestures, a shared glance that lingers a moment too long, a conversation that drifts into late-night confessions, the feeling that time bends around them. The Libra woman appreciates the Cancer man's sincerity. He doesn't flatter idly or make hollow promises. He feels things deeply, and his eyes reveal more than his words. She senses that depth immediately and, in her own way, tests it with teasing questions and gentle flirtation. For her, love begins in the mind, an exchange of thoughts, ideals, and energies, and she finds his emotional intelligence refreshing. The Cancer man, ruled by the moon, often moves with caution when it comes to love. His heart is tender, and he fears rejection more than he admits. But the Libra woman's easy charm disarms him. Her laughter, her grace, her effortless diplomacy, all of it feels like a soft breeze that cools his worries. He can't help but imagine what life might be like beside someone so balanced, someone who turns every moment into beauty. Still, beneath that attraction, there's uncertainty. The Libra woman is air, changeable, curious, and drawn to new experiences. The Cancer man is water, seeking emotional depth and lasting bonds. Their first dance together is enchanting but uncertain, like a tide that comes close to shore but hesitates before fully washing over it. Their chemistry lies in the contrast between her lightness and his depth. The Libra woman, ruled by Venus, thrives on harmony, beauty, and connection. She's the kind of partner who wants love to feel graceful, without heavy storms or emotional chaos. The Cancer man, however, is built from emotion. He feels everything intensely, sometimes too intensely. When she laughs, he feels warmth flood through him. When she looks away, he feels a chill of insecurity. Yet, he's captivated by how she balances him. She teaches him to see that love can be soft and playful, not just soulful and serious. At the same time, she's drawn to what lies beneath his calm exterior. The Libra woman senses the emotional universe behind his eyes and can't resist exploring it. There's something romantic, almost poetic, about the way he loves. He listens with undivided attention, remembers the smallest details, and gives without expectation. To her, that devotion feels rare in a world that moves too quickly. But what really seals their early connection is curiosity. She wants to uncover the layers of his heart. He wants to understand the mystery behind her charm. Their first few weeks or months together feel like a slow, beautiful unfolding. They might meet at a gathering where she's surrounded by friends and laughter, while he lingers quietly, observing. Somehow, their paths cross, a shared smile, a conversation about art, music, or the meaning of happiness. She draws him out, makes him talk, makes him feel seen. And once she's gone, he thinks about her all night. The Libra woman, too, feels something. A quiet tug that makes her wonder what lies behind that gentle smile. There's an elegance in how their attraction grows. It's not fiery and impulsive like Aries or Leo love, but romantic in a cinematic sense, the kind that builds through eye contact, soft words, and emotional resonance. He sends her thoughtful messages, she responds with humor and lightness. He gives her flowers because he truly means it, she writes him notes because she loves the sentimentality. In those early days, everything feels beautifully balanced, as if the universe itself conspired to bring water and air into perfect motion. But beneath all that sweetness, there's complexity. The Cancer man's mood can shift like the moon, sometimes bright, sometimes shadowed. The Libra woman, who seeks equilibrium, may find this emotional variability both intriguing and exhausting. She'll want to smooth things over, to find compromise, but he'll want reassurance, depth, and closeness. The initial attraction between them thrives on this tension, her desire for light and balance against his yearning for emotional intensity. He may be fascinated by her social grace, how she can float through a room full of people and make each person feel special, but part of him fears losing her to the very crowd that adores her. She, in turn, might find his protectiveness endearing at first, even comforting. But she'll also sense the emotional gravity he carries and wonder whether she can handle its depth. This delicate push and pull is what makes their chemistry so compelling, a beautiful, unpredictable blend of harmony and challenge. Every glance, every word, every shared silence between them carries meaning. When they walk together, she feels his protective energy. When they part, he feels her absence like the quiet before rain. Their early connection is the kind of romance that feels destined yet uncertain, full of promise and questions. It's a meeting of two souls that understand love differently but are willing to learn each other's language. For the Cancer man, she becomes the light that softens his emotional tides. For the Libra woman, he becomes the anchor that steadies her graceful drift. Together, they create a chemistry that feels timeless, one that exists somewhere between a dream and a memory, between air and water, between the heart and the mind. And while their beginning may seem delicate, almost fragile, it carries the potential to grow into something extraordinary, if both are willing to bridge their differences and meet in the quiet middle ground where her laughter meets his heart. Emotional dynamics. Here lies both their beauty and their greatest challenge, the invisible thread that binds them and sometimes threatens to pull them apart. The emotional landscape between a Cancer man and a Libra woman is vast, delicate, and layered like a painting made from water and air. To the outside world, they may look serene, the charming couple who always seem in tune. But beneath that polished surface, their hearts are dancing to very different rhythms. The Cancer man lives in a world of emotion. His heart doesn't just beat, it feels. Every word, every gesture, every silence carries weight. When he loves, he gives everything, not halfway, not cautiously. He is ruled by the moon, the celestial body of tides and emotion, and his moods ebb and flow with lunar precision. Some days he is radiant with affection, overflowing with tenderness and warmth. Other days he withdraws, needing to retreat into his inner world. To him, love is not a transaction. It's a home, a sanctuary where souls merge and emotions run deep. The Libra woman, meanwhile, experiences love through thought, harmony, and balance. She is ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty and justice, which gives her an almost artistic approach to relationships. She believes in fairness, in the give and take that keeps two hearts aligned. Her emotions are real, but she filters them through intellect and diplomacy. If something feels off, she talks it through, seeking peace through reason. Her goal is not to control emotion but to refine it, to turn chaos into calm. And there, between his oceanic depth and her airy equilibrium, lies both their wonder and their tension. The Cancer man feels first, thinks later. The Libra woman thinks first, feels after. When he's hurt, he pulls away, a silent tide receding from the shore. When she's hurt, she wants to discuss, to understand, to make sense of the emotional storm. This difference can create moments of confusion that ripple through their connection. She might misinterpret his withdrawal as disinterest, while he interprets her calm rationality as coldness. In truth, both care deeply, they just love in entirely different languages. For the Cancer man, emotion is his compass. He navigates relationships through intuition. He can feel shifts in tone, notice subtle changes in energy, and sense when something is wrong even before words are spoken. But that same sensitivity makes him vulnerable. When he feels unappreciated or misunderstood, he doesn't fight, he hides. His retreat is his armor, his way of protecting the fragile core within. The Libra woman, on the other hand, is uncomfortable with silence. She craves dialogue, harmony, resolution. When he disappears into emotional solitude, she feels unbalanced, as if the scales that govern her soul have been tipped too far to one side. Their emotional dynamic becomes a test of timing and empathy. When she rushes in to fix things, he may feel invaded. When he retreats too long, she may feel neglected. The beauty of their bond lies in learning the rhythm of each other's hearts, to give space when space is needed, and closeness when closeness is craved. It's like learning a new language, one where silence and speech, emotion and thought, ebb and flow together in delicate harmony. When the Libra woman learns that not every silence is rejection, that sometimes his quiet is just the sound of him healing, she begins to soften. She learns to sit beside him, not demanding words but offering presence. Her natural diplomacy turns into emotional wisdom, and she discovers that peace is not always spoken, sometimes it's simply felt. The Cancer man, in turn, learns to interpret her calm not as detachment but as devotion expressed differently. Her reason is her way of caring, her method of holding things steady when his tides grow too wild. Their emotional connection can shift from fragile misunderstanding to soulful synergy. The Libra woman, with her balance, helps the Cancer man manage his emotional waves. She teaches him that love can still be deep without drowning, that not every feeling must be an ocean, some can be a quiet lake reflecting the sky. He, in turn, shows her that logic alone cannot sustain passion. He teaches her that love sometimes demands surrender, that emotion, raw, unfiltered, imperfect, is not something to fear but to embrace. When they begin to understand this dynamic, their relationship becomes a masterpiece of contrast. She brings light into his depths, he brings depth into her light. Together they create emotional equilibrium, not static but alive and breathing. Their conversations start to transform. Instead of clashing when moods shift, they start listening. She begins to ask softer questions, he begins to answer with more vulnerability. Their emotional growth becomes a shared journey rather than a battlefield. But make no mistake, it's not an easy process. The Cancer man's emotional intensity can still overwhelm her at times. He feels love like weather, sudden, heavy, sometimes unpredictable. The Libra woman might find herself trying to stabilize his storms with her logic, only to realize that feelings aren't problems to be solved. They're experiences to be lived. In these moments, she learns patience, to breathe through the tides instead of fighting them. And he learns restraint, that love can be calm, not just passionate. There are also moments of exquisite beauty in their emotional bond. When he finally opens up, really opens up, she feels honored. It's as if he's letting her into a secret world only she has the key to. And when she, in turn, lets down her guard and admits vulnerability, he cherishes it like a rare treasure. These are the moments that knit them together, quietly but powerfully, creating a sense of intimacy that transcends words. Over time, their emotional languages begin to merge. The Libra woman starts feeling more deeply, less afraid of emotional waves. The Cancer man starts communicating more clearly, learning to express without retreating. They begin to meet halfway, his heart learning balance, her mind learning surrender. It's not a perfect equilibrium, but a living, breathing partnership that thrives on mutual understanding. This emotional evolution transforms their love. They start to see that their differences were never obstacles, they were invitations. Invitations to grow, to stretch, to love beyond comfort. She brings grace into his feelings, he brings feeling into her grace. And in that exchange, both become more complete. So yes, their emotional dynamic begins with confusion, the clash of the thinker and the feeler, but it doesn't end there. When love matures between them, it becomes something beautifully rare, an emotional symphony where intellect meets intuition, where words and feelings intertwine, where silence itself becomes a form of connection. And when that happens, magic truly does. The Libra woman finds herself touched by emotions she once analyzed from afar. The Cancer man discovers peace in balance he once feared as indifference. Together, they build not just love, but emotional harmony, fragile yet enduring, soft yet strong. Long-term compatibility. Longevity between a Cancer man and a Libra woman depends on something far deeper than fleeting attraction or romantic gestures. It depends on their shared willingness to grow together instead of drifting apart. At the beginning, everything feels easy. Their chemistry glows with charm and promise. His tenderness melts her, her elegance inspires him. But time, that quiet and relentless sculptor of love, soon begins to reveal what truly lies beneath. In long-term relationships, the initial harmony of water and air must find a way to coexist, not by erasing their differences, but by learning to dance with them. The Cancer man seeks emotional security the way a sailor seeks a lighthouse, something constant to guide him home. For him, love is not a thrill, it's an anchor. He dreams of a home that feels like sanctuary, warm lights, quiet nights, deep conversations, and a partner who knows him so intimately that words become optional. Loyalty, for him, is sacred. He gives his whole heart, and he expects that same devotion in return. The Libra woman, meanwhile, seeks beauty, balance, and partnership that never loses its spark. Her idea of long-term love is not only about comfort but vitality, shared laughter, elegant simplicity, and the feeling that life together remains inspiring. She's ruled by Venus, so aesthetics matter to her, the little things, the atmosphere, the energy between two souls. She wants love that breathes, evolves, and always feels alive. Their desires are not opposites, but they exist in different emotional languages. The Cancer man yearns for depth, permanence, and stability, like a home built on bedrock. The Libra woman longs for grace, symmetry, and inspiration, like a home filled with light and music. Together, they can absolutely create something extraordinary, but it requires awareness and compromise. He must learn that her need for social connection and variety isn't a threat to their bond. She must learn that his desire for closeness isn't a cage, but a way of expressing devotion. In the early years, their differences may even enhance their love. The Libra woman brings color to his world, coaxing him out of his shell. She encourages him to travel, meet people, experience art, and see beauty in motion. The Cancer man gives her depth, a sense of belonging she didn't know she was missing. With him, she feels safe enough to stop performing for the world and simply be. Their partnership, at its best, is a blend of his emotional steadiness and her social grace, a union that feels both romantic and grounding. But over time, the same traits that drew them together can start to test their patience. His sensitivity can feel heavy to her, like emotional humidity she can't escape. Her lightness, in turn, can seem to him like emotional distance. He may interpret her love of conversation and socializing as avoidance of intimacy, while she might see his introversion as possessiveness. If they don't recognize these patterns early, resentment can quietly take root. The Cancer man must remember that the Libra woman's need for social connection is not about neglect, it's about nourishment. Her friendships, her work, her creative pursuits, they feed her spirit, allowing her to return to the relationship renewed. The Libra woman must remember that his emotional retreat isn't withdrawal, it's reflection. He needs moments of solitude to recharge his sensitivity, to process, to feel. When she honors his silences and he honors her motion, they begin to understand the rhythm that makes their love sustainable. Communication becomes their lifeline. They must learn not to assume the worst, not to let silence breed doubt or words turn sharp. The Libra woman's gift of diplomacy can help here. She has a natural ability to mediate, to find balance between two emotional extremes. The Cancer man, when he feels safe, is deeply empathetic. He'll listen, he'll adapt, he'll nurture. Together, they can transform misunderstandings into opportunities for deeper connection. Their shared values, love, loyalty, beauty, and peace, are strong foundations for long-term harmony. The Cancer man's protective nature gives her a sense of safety. The Libra woman's fairness and calm temper his emotional storms. When they work in sync, they complement one another perfectly. He creates the emotional roots, she grows the graceful branches. Yet long-term compatibility isn't built only on love, it's built on growth. And growth often means discomfort. The Libra woman must learn to handle his emotional waves without losing her balance, while he must learn to accept her independence without fear. Their challenge is not to change each other but to expand together. He must expand his comfort zone to include her social world. She must expand her emotional bandwidth to meet his depth. They may approach life differently. He seeks routine and emotional consistency, while she thrives in new experiences and intellectual stimulation. But when they respect those differences, they create a world rich in both comfort and excitement. Imagine evenings where they cook together in quiet intimacy, followed by weekends out exploring art galleries or hosting dinner parties filled with laughter. Their life together can be as multidimensional as they allow it to be. Of course, no long-term partnership escapes friction. The Cancer man's protective streak can sometimes turn into jealousy. The Libra woman's charm can unintentionally trigger his insecurities. But if he learns to trust her natural friendliness and she reassures him with honesty and affection, they can avoid unnecessary drama. Their love matures best when both embrace transparency, when he stops hiding behind silence, and she stops glossing over discomfort for the sake of peace. The key to their longevity lies not in perfection, but in persistence. The Cancer man, once committed, rarely gives up easily. The Libra woman, guided by fairness, is willing to talk things through until balance is restored. Together, they have the tools to weather emotional storms without capsizing. And when they do hit rough waters, it's their shared sense of loyalty that brings them back to center. Over decades, this couple has the potential to build a partnership that feels timeless, one that matures like fine wine. Their home becomes both sanctuary and salon, a place where feelings are nurtured and ideas are celebrated. He ensures the emotional roots run deep, she ensures the air stays fresh and alive. Their love story becomes a living proof that stability and grace can coexist. When Cancer and Libra evolve past the surface differences, when they learn to honor each other's essence rather than resist it, they unlock something extraordinary. They become not just lovers, but true partners in growth. He grounds her dreams, she elevates his emotions. He gives her the safety to stay, she gives him the reason to reach. Together, they form a bond that's not static but ever evolving, a gentle dance between the tides and the breeze. Their long-term success, then, is not about choosing between security or beauty, home or adventure, emotion or balance. It's about creating a shared rhythm that contains them all. If she can appreciate his need for emotional sanctuary, and he can celebrate her love of connection and elegance, their relationship becomes both a safe harbor and a work of art. In the end, Cancer and Libra can build a love that is both grounded and inspiring. A home that glows with warmth and laughter, where every day feels like a quiet masterpiece of understanding. A true blend of water and air, fluid, graceful, and eternal. Communication conflict resolution. Here's where their relationship can either thrive or quietly unravel, in the space between what's said and what's left unspoken. For the Cancer man and the Libra woman, communication is not merely about words. It's about tone, timing, and the emotional current that flows beneath the surface. When it works, their conversations are lyrical, filled with understanding, warmth, and grace. But when it falters, silence becomes sharp, and misunderstanding creeps in like fog rolling over still water. The Libra woman, ruled by Venus and guided by air, is a natural diplomat. She values harmony above all. Arguments feel like storms that disturb her inner balance, so she does what comes most naturally. She tries to smooth things over, to make peace quickly, to keep the emotional air light and breathable. She'll compromise before she complains, and she'll smile even when something inside her aches. Her instinct is to preserve beauty, not break it. But that instinct can sometimes turn into quiet suppression. She hides her real frustrations behind polished words, afraid that speaking them aloud will fracture the love she's trying so hard to protect. The Cancer man, on the other hand, feels everything. Every shift in her tone, every pause in her sentence, every subtle change in energy registers deeply in his heart. He communicates through emotion first, words second. If something feels off, he doesn't always articulate it, he retreats. Like the tides governed by the moon, his moods pull him inward. He seeks safety in solitude, curling into his inner shell until the storm outside passes. But when that withdrawal happens, it's rarely seen as peace by the Libra woman. To her, it feels like disappearance, as if the warmth that once filled the room has suddenly gone cold. And so begins their cycle. She avoids confrontation to keep the calm. He feels the avoidance and mistakes it for emotional distance. He retreats into silence, trying to protect his vulnerable heart. His quiet unsettles her, so she overcompensates with pleasantries and reason. But he doesn't want reason, he wants reassurance. Eventually, something small, a tone, a forgotten text, a slightly cold glance, ignites all that buried emotion. What could have been solved in a gentle conversation now erupts as a flood of feelings neither was prepared for. This is their greatest test, learning to talk without fear. Honesty must become their foundation. The Cancer man must trust that his vulnerability won't drive her away, that his emotional transparency will not be seen as weakness, but as truth. The Libra woman must understand that her calm diplomacy, though beautiful, can sometimes feel distant to someone who craves emotional validation. He doesn't need her logic when he's hurting. He needs her presence, her passion, her willingness to sit in the discomfort and simply feel with him. When they find that balance, something magical happens. The Cancer man learns that communication can be safe, that expressing himself won't always end in rejection. The Libra woman learns that conflict isn't always destruction, sometimes it's the doorway to intimacy. They begin to realize that disagreement isn't the enemy, silence is. For as long as they keep talking, there's hope. The key is intention. The Libra woman must learn to speak from her heart, not just her mind. Her natural ability to reason is her strength, but the Cancer man needs to hear the warmth behind her words, to feel that she's emotionally there with him. She must sometimes allow herself to drop the mask of poise and let the rawness show. He, in turn, must learn not to retreat when tension rises. His silence, though self-protective, isolates them both. Instead, he must practice staying present, even when his emotions feel overwhelming. One of the most healing things that can happen between them is a simple, open conversation where neither tries to win, where she listens with fairness and he listens with empathy. He can say, "I feel hurt when you go quiet after a disagreement," and she can reply, "I go quiet because I'm afraid my words will make things worse." In those moments, walls crumble. Love becomes real again. Their styles of communication differ, but they are wonderfully complementary when balanced. Her diplomacy can soften his intensity, preventing small issues from turning into emotional tempests. His sincerity can anchor her rational tendencies, reminding her that feelings deserve space even when they're messy. Together, they can learn the art of emotional honesty, speaking the truth with compassion rather than defense. It's also important for them to choose their timing. The Libra woman likes to resolve things immediately. She feels uneasy when tension lingers. The Cancer man often needs time to process before he can articulate what's wrong. If she pushes too soon, he may shut down. If he waits too long, she may lose patience. Learning each other's emotional rhythms becomes their shared responsibility. Sometimes she must give him space to gather his thoughts. Sometimes he must step forward before his silence grows too heavy. Their communication flourishes when they remember why they're speaking in the first place, not to prove a point, but to preserve love. The Libra woman's grace turns arguments into meaningful dialogue. the Cancer man's empathy transforms misunderstandings into deeper understanding. Over time, they learn that honesty doesn't have to destroy harmony, it can actually create a more authentic one. Their conflict resolution works best when they treat each disagreement as a chance to understand each other more deeply rather than to win. He brings emotion to the table, the pulse of feeling that makes love real. She brings logic and balance, the calm hand that keeps the discussion steady. When his emotions threaten to overflow, her poise steadies the moment. When her reason risks sounding detached, his heart brings it back to warmth. Together, they create a dialogue that's not just functional, but healing. It's in those quiet reconciliations, the late-night talks after a misunderstanding, the soft apologies, the gentle laughter through tears, that their bond deepens. The Cancer man learns that vulnerability doesn't destroy love, it strengthens it. The Libra woman learns that peace isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about finding truth within it. Over years, their communication becomes one of their greatest strengths. They develop an unspoken understanding, a shared intuition that helps them navigate tension before it turns into distance. He can sense when she's hiding hurt behind her smile, she can tell when he's retreating into silence. And because they've built trust, they reach for each other instead of turning away. When their empathy meets her fairness halfway, communication becomes not just functional but beautiful. Their words become music, sometimes soft and soothing, sometimes passionate and raw, but always real. They show that love doesn't need to be loud to be deep, or perfect to be lasting. In the end, this is how they thrive, through gentle honesty. Through choosing love over pride, connection over ego. The Cancer man learns to speak even when his voice trembles. The Libra woman learns to listen even when her heart feels unsettled. And in that sacred exchange, between water and air, feeling and reason, they find the truest form of communication, one where both are heard, both are seen, and both are safe. Physical intimate connection. Their intimacy is not just an act of passion, it's poetry written in motion, a quiet dialogue between body and soul. When a Cancer man and a Libra woman come together, it's less about fiery explosion and more about emotional symphony. Their physical bond mirrors their personalities, tender, refined, deeply emotional, and quietly romantic. Each touch, each breath, each shared moment becomes an unspoken promise of love, security, and beauty. For the Cancer man, physical affection is sacred. He doesn't separate touch from feeling. For him, the body is the instrument through which the heart speaks. His approach to intimacy is gentle, intuitive, and deeply personal. He wants to feel known in the moments when words no longer suffice. Every caress, every embrace carries meaning. Every kiss is a declaration of trust. He seeks not just pleasure, but connection, the kind that lingers in the silence after passion, when hearts are still beating in rhythm. The Libra woman, on the other hand, is ruled by Venus, the goddess of beauty, sensuality, and love. To her, intimacy is art. She delights in the aesthetic of affection, soft lighting, delicate fabrics, faint music in the background, and the poetry of timing. She loves to create an atmosphere that feels balanced, harmonious, and emotionally charged. It's not about indulgence, it's about grace. She wants the experience to be beautiful, a dance of emotions as much as sensations. When these two energies meet, something profoundly soothing happens. He brings depth, she brings harmony. He grounds their passion in emotion, and she elevates it with elegance. Together, they create an intimate rhythm that feels timeless, a perfect balance between soul and style. For them, the physical act of love becomes an extension of who they are at their core. The nurturer and the aesthete, the protector and the muse. Their connection unfolds slowly, almost ceremonially. The Cancer man isn't one to rush. He wants to make her feel safe, adored, and deeply valued before the physical intimacy begins. He reads her cues with lunar sensitivity, attuned to the subtlest changes in her breathing, her gaze, her tone. The Libra woman responds to this attentiveness with gratitude and wonder. She feels cherished in a way that few others can make her feel. With him, she's not just admired, she's understood. And that understanding makes her trust him enough to let go of her composure and surrender to feeling. Their chemistry thrives on emotional resonance. When they touch, it's as if the world slows down, as though time itself yields to their connection. He cradles her as if she's made of moonlight, she touches him as if he's carved from memory. It's not wild passion but soulful communion. In his arms, she finds peace. In her gaze, he finds belonging. Their intimacy is less about excitement and more about depth, a kind of spiritual merging that reaffirms everything they feel but cannot always express in words. The bedroom, for them, becomes a sanctuary, a private universe where vulnerability is not only allowed but celebrated. Here, they drop their masks. His guarded heart opens fully, her poised exterior softens into warmth. They move together like tide and breeze, fluid, gentle, natural. It's in these moments that they rediscover each other, not as ideas or roles, but as human souls yearning for closeness. But like all beautiful things, this intimacy requires balance. The Cancer man's emotions can run so deep that he sometimes clings too tightly, seeking reassurance in every embrace. His need for emotional confirmation can overwhelm the Libra woman, who values harmony and lightness even in love. She might start to feel that every touch comes with emotional weight, that every moment of affection demands proof of devotion. When that happens, she may quietly pull away, not because she doesn't care, but because she needs space to breathe. Likewise, the Libra woman's idealism can complicate things. She dreams of perfect intimacy, where everything looks, feels, and unfolds flawlessly. She wants beauty in the details, balance in the mood, elegance in the rhythm. But love, especially with a Cancer man, isn't always perfect. Sometimes it's messy, raw, and unpredictable. When reality intrudes, when moods shift, when emotions run high, she may feel disoriented. Yet it's precisely in those imperfect moments that their bond can grow deeper, if she learns to embrace the beauty in vulnerability, not just symmetry. Their long-term physical connection thrives when they learn to balance his need for reassurance with her desire for lightness. He must trust that her love doesn't need constant proof to be real. She must understand that his longing for closeness isn't neediness, but his way of loving fully. When they align in that understanding, their physical relationship becomes not just satisfying, but healing. Over time, their intimacy matures like fine art. They begin to know each other's rhythms, the way he craves touch after an argument, the way she needs emotional harmony before she can fully surrender. Their communication deepens even in silence. A glance, a brush of fingers, a quiet laugh. These small gestures become their language of love. The Libra woman brings beauty to their physical world, scented candles, silk sheets, music that feels like starlight. The Cancer man brings emotion, gentle hands, whispered words, and the safety of unconditional affection. Together, they create an experience that's both sensual and soulful, a union of Venus's charm and the moon's devotion. Their lovemaking is less about performance and more about presence. He doesn't just touch her body, he touches her being. She doesn't just return affection, she creates an atmosphere where emotion can breathe. Every encounter becomes a reaffirmation of their trust, a reminder that beneath their differences lies a shared desire to love deeply and beautifully. Even outside the bedroom, this sensual chemistry lingers. The way he places a hand on her back while they walk, the way she brushes his hair from his eyes, these small, tender acts speak volumes. Their intimacy extends into daily life, transforming ordinary moments into quiet rituals of connection. When they're in sync, the world around them fades. His emotional waves find calm in her air, her graceful detachment finds warmth in his touch. It's an alchemy that's subtle yet powerful, the union of feeling and finesse. Of course, there will be times when their rhythm falters. The Cancer man may crave emotional intensity when she's seeking light-hearted affection. The Libra woman may want balance when he needs raw expression. But with understanding and patience, these moments can become opportunities for renewal rather than rupture. The truth is, their physical connection is not about grand gestures or fiery passion. It's about tenderness, the kind of tenderness that endures. It's about knowing how to touch when words fail, how to hold when silence speaks louder than conversation. When they trust each other completely, when they meet not just as lovers but as souls, their intimacy transcends physical boundaries. In the long run, their connection deepens with age rather than fades. They become experts in each other's hearts, knowing when to reach, when to rest, when to simply be. Their love becomes a sanctuary, emotionally healing, aesthetically beautiful, eternally gentle. Because in the end, for a Cancer man and a Libra woman, physical intimacy is not about conquest or perfection. It's about communion, two souls meeting halfway between the sea and the sky, between emotion and elegance, between the safety of his arms and the lightness of her touch. Shared values, life goals. Despite their differences, Cancer and Libra share one essential goal: to love and to be loved, not just in the romantic sense, but in the deepest, most soul-nourishing way possible. Both are seekers of connection, though they travel different roads to reach it. For the Cancer man, love is a promise, steady, sacred, unwavering. For the Libra woman, love is an art, fluid, graceful, ever-evolving. When these two join forces, their shared yearning for emotional and aesthetic fulfillment becomes the heart of their relationship. The Cancer man dreams of a life rooted in meaning and stability. He's not one for chaos or uncertainty. He craves predictability, the comfort of home, the rhythm of familiar routines. His greatest wish is to build something lasting, a home filled with laughter, comfort, and a sense of belonging. He values loyalty above all, believing that true love isn't proven by words, but by showing up, day after day, in small, consistent ways. For him, life's success isn't measured in wealth or accolades, but in the warmth of the family he nurtures and the memories he creates. The Libra woman, on the other hand, dreams of a life that feels beautiful and balanced. She's not content with mere survival or routine. She needs inspiration, grace, and human connection. Her values are built around fairness, aesthetics, and peace. She believes life should be lived as an elegant composition, each element in harmony with the next. For her, home isn't just a place. It's a feeling, a mood, a reflection of love and beauty. She cherishes partnerships that inspire her, relationships that challenge her intellectually and fulfill her emotionally. Together, their shared values form a delicate tapestry woven from devotion and design. He brings warmth and loyalty, she brings refinement and understanding. Where he builds foundations, she paints skies. Where he seeks safety, she seeks beauty. Together, they can create a life that feels both emotionally grounded and visually inspiring. A home where love isn't just felt but seen in every detail, from the laughter echoing through rooms to the light filtering softly through carefully chosen curtains. Their shared goal, to create a world that feels safe and beautiful, makes them natural collaborators in life. The Cancer man provides emotional security. The Libra woman ensures that the emotional landscape remains harmonious. He tends to the roots, while she shapes the branches. Their home becomes a sanctuary, both comforting and inviting, where every guest feels warmth and every corner tells a story. However, their paths to these values sometimes diverge. The Cancer man's need for security can lean toward caution. He likes to save, to plan, to prepare for the future. His instinct is to protect, to build a nest before he flies. The Libra woman, with her Venusian flair, is often more spontaneous. She delights in experiences, travel, art, fine dining, elegant gatherings. She believes that beauty and pleasure are essential to a fulfilling life. Where he sees saving as security, she sees it as limitation. Where she sees spending on art or travel as nourishment, he may view it as risk. This difference, between practicality and idealism, can create tension if not handled with awareness. But it's also what gives their relationship depth. When they learn to blend their perspectives, magic happens. He teaches her the comfort of consistency. She shows him the joy of indulgence. Together, they find the sweet spot between emotional safety and sensory delight, a life that feels both grounded and alive. In family life, their values complement each other beautifully. The Cancer man is naturally nurturing. He thrives in the role of caretaker, protector, and emotional pillar. He's the one who makes sure everyone feels safe, fed, and loved. The Libra woman adds elegance and social grace to that warmth. She creates beauty not for vanity's sake, but to make life feel harmonious. She ensures that the home he builds doesn't just function, it glows. They share a deep belief in partnership. Neither thrives in solitude for long. Cancer's loyalty meets Libra's devotion halfway, creating a relationship built on mutual giving. They both want to make their partner happy, though their ways differ. He shows love through care and protection. She shows it through affection and understanding. This reciprocity is the foundation of their union. Both feel seen, both feel needed, both feel loved. Socially, they also balance each other. The Libra woman is naturally drawn to people. She enjoys gatherings, conversation, and cultural exchange. The Cancer man, more private by nature, can sometimes find this exhausting. But he learns from her how to open his world a little wider, to trust in the beauty of shared experience. She, in turn, learns from him the value of retreat, that not every moment needs to be filled with motion, that stillness can be its own form of beauty. Their shared appreciation for love and harmony extends to their sense of justice and empathy. Both have strong moral compasses, though they express them differently. The Cancer man defends those he loves with fierce loyalty. The Libra woman advocates for fairness, even when it's uncomfortable. Together, they create a partnership that values kindness, not just toward each other, but toward the world around them. In their long-term goals, both desire peace, though they define it differently. For him, peace means security, knowing that his loved ones are safe and that life is predictable. For her, peace means balance, the ability to move gracefully through change without losing center. When they learn to combine these visions, their shared life becomes a gentle masterpiece. They might dream of a house near the water, his symbol of home, her symbol of flow, filled with art, love, and laughter. Of course, compromises must be made along the way. He may need to loosen his grip on routine. She may need to ground her dreams in practicality. But when they love each other enough to meet in the middle, they become unstoppable. He learns that beauty is worth investing in, that luxury isn't wasteful when it feeds the soul. She learns that emotional safety is the greatest luxury of all. Their shared purpose becomes clear: to build a life that feels both stable and inspiring, safe and alive. They may not always agree on how to get there, but their hearts are aligned in what they seek: love, connection, and meaning. Over time, their differences become assets rather than obstacles. His steadiness gives her wings a place to rest. Her grace gives his roots room to grow. Together, they create a partnership that others admire, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. They understand that true harmony isn't the absence of conflict, but the ability to find melody within it. Their shared values, loyalty, fairness, beauty, and care, become the rhythm of their shared life. In the end, Cancer and Libra teach each other the most profound lesson: that love is both a home and a horizon. For him, she brings the air of possibility. For her, he offers the safety of belonging. Together, they create a world that reflects both: a place where emotional warmth meets graceful living, where family meets artistry, where loyalty meets love. Their shared goals are simple yet eternal: to love deeply, live beautifully, and leave behind a life that feels like a masterpiece painted in two hearts' colors. And when they walk through that life hand in hand, balancing water's depth and air's elegance, they remind everyone watching that love, when built on shared values and mutual respect, can truly be both safe and sublime. Final thoughts. In the grand tapestry of astrological love stories, few pairings are as quietly captivating as the Cancer man and Libra woman. They are not the couple that burns too bright and fades too soon. Rather, they are the slow, steady flame that warms the soul and lights the home. Their journey together is not without friction, but it's precisely in those moments of contrast, between his depth and her grace, his sensitivity and her diplomacy, that something exquisite is born. Cancer and Libra are elemental opposites, water and air. At first glance, they seem to operate on different frequencies. He feels everything to the core, while she observes life through the prism of reason and beauty. Yet, when these two align, they create an emotional climate that's as gentle as dawn and as enduring as the tide. He teaches her the language of feeling, she teaches him the art of balance. Together, they craft a love that's not about dominance or perfection, but about mutual elevation. The Cancer man enters love like a poet diving into the ocean. He gives everything: heart, loyalty, and time. For him, love must feel real, tangible, and lasting. He wants to build something that endures, something that becomes part of his identity. The Libra woman, ever guided by Venus, believes in the power of beauty, not only the kind you can see, but the kind that lives in gesture, tone, and energy. She wants love to feel right, to look and sound like harmony itself. When they fall for each other, it's the meeting of devotion and elegance, his emotional moonlight reflected in her graceful air. Their relationship, like any great partnership, evolves in layers. In the early days, it's the allure of opposites, her laughter breaking through his shyness, his tenderness softening her poise. Over time, that initial attraction deepens into something more profound. They begin to see the beauty in each other's contrasts, how his stillness steadies her restlessness, how her diplomacy refines his passion. They begin to realize that their differences are not obstacles to love, but doorways to growth. Yet, this is not an easy love. It demands patience, compassion, and emotional literacy. The Cancer man must learn that her need for social grace is not superficial, it's her way of creating harmony in a chaotic world. The Libra woman must learn that his emotional intensity is not weakness, it's his way of caring more deeply than words can say. When they stop trying to change each other and instead begin to understand each other, their love matures into something powerful and enduring. In the long run, they become a team of balance and depth. The Cancer man builds the emotional foundation, the Libra woman designs the emotional architecture. Together, they create a life that's both secure and inspiring, a home that feels like a sanctuary, not just from the world, but within it. Their shared dreams, of love, beauty, family, and peace, intertwine like vines around a timeless structure, rooted in devotion, reaching for light. When conflict arises, it's rarely about lack of love, but about fear, his fear of losing closeness, her fear of losing calm. And yet, even here, they have everything they need to heal. His empathy and her diplomacy are a perfect antidote to misunderstanding. Their greatest strength lies in their shared ability to listen, not just to words, but to the quiet spaces between them. Intimacy between them grows richer with time. He finds joy in her grace, and she finds safety in his affection. They discover that love isn't always about grand gestures, sometimes it's in the small, unspoken rituals. The way he leaves a note on her nightstand, the way she adjusts his collar before they leave the house. It's in these details that their devotion quietly thrives. And perhaps that's what makes their bond so timeless. They remind us that love doesn't have to be dramatic to be profound. It can be soft, thoughtful, and deeply human. It can be built on shared breakfasts, quiet evenings, inside jokes, and the simple comfort of knowing someone gets you. For the Cancer man, the Libra woman becomes both muse and mirror. She reflects back the gentlest parts of his soul and helps him express them with confidence. For the Libra woman, the Cancer man becomes both anchor and shelter. He steadies her heart when life feels unbalanced and reminds her that love isn't just harmony, it's devotion. Their shared journey is about creating a life that feels as beautiful as it does safe. It's a partnership that values depth without drowning, grace without pretense, and emotion without chaos. When they get it right, when they truly align, they become an example of love's most refined expression, soulful, kind, and quietly unbreakable. In the end, the Cancer man and Libra woman don't just fall in love, they build love. They sculpt it daily with understanding, decorate it with compassion, and sustain it with loyalty. They show that true compatibility isn't about being the same, it's about choosing each other, again and again, across differences, moods, and seasons. Because when water meets air, when his moon finds her Venus, love doesn't just exist. It flows, it breathes, it becomes art.